NFL quarterback Danny Kanell, who joins us from L.A. here to break down the Super Bowl matchups. Joe Burrow against the Rams' stout defense that features Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, just to name a few. Danny, what does Burrow have to do to beat this L.A. defense?
So, Hakeem, if this was a game of 7-on-7, I would really like the Bengals' chances because he has a lot of weapons to work with, and the Rams' secondary outside of Jalen Ramsey isn't spectacular. But we know it's not 7-on-7. This is tackle football. So he's got to really be conscious of where to get rid of the football. Now, he's been getting rushed all season long. He's been getting sacked every single game, including the game everybody's talked about, the 9 sacks he suffered against the Tennessee Titans. But here's where I think Joe Burrow can sort of mask some of the offensive line issues in front of him, because he's very smart and he has a very intense awareness of the system that he plays in. He knows where to get rid of the football quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Zach Taylor comes out with a game plan of spreading out, maybe even going empty, spreading out, going 5 wide, and going with the quick game. Because there is nothing more frustrating for guys like Aaron Donald, Von Miller, than trying to get the sack, but the ball's gone. The ball's out of your hands quick. So you get it out of your hands because they get frustrated and they get tired. And you get that ball out of your hands, you don't hold on to it. They start getting frustrated and it starts to mount. And maybe you get some penalties in there, some late hits on the quarterback because they think they're going to get a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. But if he gets the ball out of his hands, they can't.
I love that game plan. I do. I really do, because you know me, I got the Bengals in this game. So I love that game plan. Give it to me all day long. This is a matchup between the 5th and 6th ranked rush defenses in the NFL. Bengals slightly better in terms of yards per game. They'll look to contain Cam Akers and Sony Michel. Meantime, the Rams front 7 looking to bottle up Joe Mixon. Danny, who has the edge in that matchup?
So it's very similar with the matchup of Joe Burrow versus the defense, because this offensive line of Cincinnati, not only are they not great in the pass protection, they're not great in the run possession. Now, they did a little bit better against Kansas City, but I still think the front 7 of the Rams has the advantage here. Yeah, you can use some misdirection and you can keep pounding him, and Joe Mixon is a workhorse. Like, that's the one thing he's got going for him. He is pretty physical, and he can carry the ball and carry the ball and carry the ball. But I think they're going to have a plan to swarm tackle him, and I think you probably have to give the edge to the Rams front 7 over Joe Mixon.
Jamar Chase looking to make a big impact on this game. Jalen Ramsey says he wants to cover the Bengals rookie receiver. Danny, how does Ramsey shut down Chase?
So I think he's going to get physical with him. That's the one thing that Jalen Ramsey has that you can't teach and you can't coach, and that's size. He's one of the bigger corners in the entire NFL, and he can run, and he's got length. So he can get his hands up in there, get a jam on the line. And to me, so this is the counter. I was telling you how the Bengals should spread out, go 5 wide, and let Burrow get out of his hands quickly. Well, that's based on rhythm passing where it's clean, and there's a guy that's uncovered, and there's a soft defensive back. Well, the counter for that, if you're the Rams, and specifically if you're Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase, is you get up in him. You get up in his face, and you don't let him get off the ball. Don't let him get a clean release, because if you know that ball's coming out, we'll get up there and take it away from him. And the counter for that will be the little chess game that takes place. Maybe you take your shots early down the field, a fade route or a quick crossing route to try to get Jalen Ramsey on his heels. The thing is, Jalen Ramsey is uber talented, and he doesn't get phased. Like, you can attack him, and he's going to love it, and he wants the challenge. So I think I think to me it's the most fun matchup to watch for in this game is Jalen Ramsey, one of the best to do it at his craft, against Jamar Chase, one of the best young players who's had an incredible rookie season at his craft. And they're going to be they're going to be going at it, and it's going to be an absolute battle between those two.
All right, so if the Rams take away Jamar Chase, they've still got 2 other talented receivers in T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd to deal with. Aside from Chase, who's the other Bengals pass catcher you're going to be watching for?
So Tyler Boyd has been there for a while. He's a good veteran. They just paid him before the season, and he's got some talent skills on his own. I mean, it's well documented how this Bengals wide receiving core, is really solid. But I think T. Higgins, because of the size factor, you've already got your biggest corner in Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase, we just talked about. Well, T. Higgins is a monster. I mean, I remember meeting him at a playoff, college football playoff, and I thought he was a basketball player. He's tall, he's lanky, he's got great hands. And if you're getting pressured a lot as a quarterback in Joe Burrow, which we all think he will, there's going to be opportunities where you're just going to have to throw it in the vicinity of the area. And if you got a large catch radius like T. Higgins, my guess is that Joe Burrow is going to trust him and say, you know what, Jalen Ramsey's locked up with Jamar Chase. They're probably going to get their next best matchup on Tyler Boyd, which leaves T. Higgins with a favorable matchup. So I think he could get a lot of targets, and he's got the skills to do it. So I think he could be the beneficiary of a lot of Joe Burrow football passes.
Could you see this similar to the situation we saw in the Bills-Chiefs game, where the Chiefs took away Stephon Diggs and then Gabriel Davis had himself a day? Could that be a similar situation where the Rams take away Jamar Chase and then it's T. Higgins that just goes off?
Yes, absolutely I could. Because I think Jalen Ramsey's savvy veteran. I like Jamar Chase a lot, but I think Jalen Ramsey will probably get the better of it. And at some point, I think Joe Burrow will get scared off. Now, not that he's afraid of anybody, but he's also smart. Why would you keep challenging Jalen Ramsey against Jamar Chase if they're giving you favorable matchups elsewhere? And that's where I think T. Higgins could get a lot of footballs thrown his way. And you also mentioned the quick game. Like, they're not going to be as confident to come up and jam T. Higgins because of that size advantage. We're talking about the fade routes earlier. Corners against a tall wide receiver, they want to make sure they know where he is. They don't want him to get behind him and lose side of the football, because then it becomes a jump ball, and they get very nervous in that situation playing against a guy as tall as T. Higgins. So I could absolutely see a scenario that you just unfolded there, Hakeem.
All right, ultimately, what's Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris scheming up against Zach Taylor's offense?
A lot of confusion. I think he's going to try to make sure he mixes up his coverages. And the advantage that the Rams have is that you've got the pass rushers up front to get it done with 4, maybe 5 if you want to rush a linebacker, but you can get pressure with 4, which allows you to do a lot with the remaining 7. And when you've got a smart quarterback like Joe Burrow, who even in his second year really has a solid grasp of where to go with it, you want to try to confuse him. So you're going to throw some different looks at him. I think you'll probably see some scenarios where if it's not Jalen Ramsey against Jamar Chase, they'll bracket Jamar Chase, which is meaning you'll have 2 guys kind of eyeing him together. And then that could present a scenario where if T. Higgins is crushing them, they might say, well, man, let's put let's put Jalen Ramsey over on T. Higgins. So it's the chess match that's going to take place. But ultimately, I think Raheem Morris is not going to stay static. You're not going to see 1 or 2 different coverages. You're going to see the kitchen sink thrown at Joe Burrow to try to confuse the young quarterback.
Look, I'm not asking for your official prediction right now because we're still a few days out. But everything that you have said, everything that's led up to this, who's winning the Super Bowl?
I think it's the Rams. We haven't given our official picks, but I remind people, last year we got so caught up into Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, much like we're doing this year, Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow. What do we forget about? The importance of pass protection. It doesn't matter how great you are and what a great year you had and what great receivers you have. If you're not able to stay upright in the pocket, it's going to be a long night. We saw Patrick Mahomes have an extremely light night last year at Super Bowl 55, struggling to get rid of the football. I think you could see a very similar situation unfold with this Rams pass rush feasting on a Cincinnati offensive line, which is struggling against much lesser competition. So I really like the Rams in this game, Hakeem.
Bengals looking to win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. The Rams looking to be the second team to win a Super Bowl on their home turf. Danny Kanell joining us from L.A. as we get set for Super Bowl 56. Danny, thanks.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.